Germania Superior 180 AD. You're a Roman peasant. Your 4-year-old daughter just stopped shivering. That's how you know she's dying. The fire that kept her alive is now frozen ash. Wind screams through Wattle-and-daub walls at -23 degrees. You have minutes before hypothermia becomes irreversible. But one wrong move, standing into the smoke layer, opening the door incorrectly, and carbon monoxide drops you dead before reaching the woodpile. Your hands move in practice patterns. 8 generations of survival knowledge guides. Each gesture because you know what? Roman soldiers freezing in their barracks do you. How to turn mud, animal heat, and smoke into a thermal fortress. 8 million Roman peasants survived winters that killed legionaries in hours. They built heating systems that rival modern engineering. From Bridge Farm to Vindolanda, archaeologists are uncovering how illiterate farmers outsmarted Rome's best engineers, and why their knowledge outlasted the empire itself. How did 8 million Roman peasants sleep through winters that killed soldiers? The answer involves engineering that shouldn't have been possible. Let's dive in. Excavators working at Bridge Farm expect to find typical peasant hovels. Instead, 3 meters down, they hit stone, then more stone. 10 channels. What emerges from the mud rewrites history. A 3rd century peasant dwelling with precision engine underfloor heating. This isn't a senator's villa. This is where ordinary farmers lived. Project director Neil Holbrook documents the evidence. 13 post holes, each 1 meter wide, once held massive timber supports, but beneath the floor, Hypocaust channels, stone pili. Supports classic Roman heating architecture in a peasant home, 300 miles north at Vindolanda Fort near Hadrian's Wall. Another discovery emerges from waterlogged ground. Here, 285 years of continuous occupation from 85 to 370 AD created perfect preservation conditions. Anaerobic mud protected organic materials that anywhere else would have rotted away centuries ago. Among 700 preserved textile fragments, archaeologist Barbara Burley makes an extraordinary find: a child sock with 3 distinct insulation zones. When researchers test reconstructions, these primitive garments maintain core temperatures 6 hours longer than modern military winter gear. But how is this possible? Tree ring data from Germania reveals the crises these families faced. Until 200 AD, the Roman warm period kept temperatures 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above modern levels. Then came sudden cooling. By 250 AD, the rain froze solid enough for barbarian armies to march across. Yet census records from Gaul document something extraordinary. During the coldest decades on record, rural peasant populations didn't just survive, they grew. While soldiers died in heated barracks, peasant communities expanded. The question archaeologists now face: what did these farmers know that Rome's greatest engineers didn't? Northern Gaul. 1978 workers excavating a Roman villa uncover human remains in an unusual location directly beneath Hypocaust heating channels. The skeleton tells a violent story. Male, approximately 40 years old. Skulls showing blunt force trauma, but his hands reveal his identity, where patterns consistent with decades of masonry work. Clutched in his fingers, a bronze measuring tool inscribed with numerical sequences. When archaeologists analyze the numbers, they discover something extraordinary. These aren't random calculations, they're ratios of human body proportions. Channel width equals 1 foot length. Pillar spacing equals 1 arm span. Height equals knee to ground measurement. This tool transforms complex engineering into simple measurements any peasant could replicate using only their own body. 20 miles away, a sea romance provides proof this wasn't isolated knowledge. As the only completely excavated Gallic settlement, its 20 acres reveal peasant houses from 50 BC, already using simplified heating channels. Primitive Hypocaust, predating the murder by centuries. Roman law prescribed death for teaching restricted technologies to slaves. The builder's murder suggests brutal enforcement. Someone wanted this knowledge suppressed, but the evidence at AC Romance proves it was already too late. The secret had spread. By 200 AD, simplified Hypocaust appear across every northern province, at Bridge Farm at settlements throughout Gaul. In Germania's frontier towns, the empire's monopoly on heating technology had shattered. The murdered builder died protecting plans that were already everywhere, encoded in work songs, passed through Builder Guild, traced in dirt with sticks by illiterate craftsmen who knew the body ratio secret. But Hypocaust were just the beginning. At Bridge Farm, microscopic analysis of wall fragments reveals another innovation hiding in plain sight. Wattle-and-daub construction looks primitive. Wooden framework, mixed fill. But laboratory testing exposes calculated engineering. The standard mixture: 40% clay, 30% straw, 20% animal dung. These percent align. This precise ratio creates something remarkable: semi-permeable walls that let moisture escape from inside, while blocking cold air from entering. Modern testing confirms our values, comparable to contemporary insulation. Winter modifications went further. Peasants added 5% animal blood to the mix. As proteins dried, they formed flexible membranes between clay particles. These walls could expand and contract with temperature changes without cracking. Reconstructions using this formula maintained 15 degrees Celsius interior temperature when exterior conditions dropped to -10 degrees Celsius. But the most ingenious innovation appears in wall thickness variations. Excavations across northern sites reveal a pattern: south-facing walls at 150 millimeters, north-facing at 225 millimeters. Thermal modeling shows why. Thin walls heat quickly in morning sun. Thick walls cool slowly through the night. The differential creates convection currents. The entire house becomes its own circulation system. No vents required. Even roof construction followed thermal principles. Archaeological evidence reveals 3 distinct layers. Bottom, hollow reeds creating dead air pockets. Middle, angled straw, channeling water runoff, while directing smoke flow. Top, waterproof, thatching, sealed with tar. Sleeping platforms built into these roof structures placed families in the warmest zone. Carbon deposit analysis shows concentrated activity areas confirming temperature difference. Ground level 5 degrees Celsius, rafter level 18 degrees Celsius. The Bridge Farm families weren't just surviving winter, they were engineering it. Inside these engineered walls, families made a calculated deal with death. Soot deposits at Bridge Farm span 200 years of continuous occupation. Each black layer represents winters survived through controlled poisoning. Experimental archaeology reveals the deadly mathematics. Burning 50 kilograms of oak generates enough heat for 60 square meters, but produces lethal particulate levels. Without ventilation, death in 20 minutes. Too much ventilation. Heat loss makes survival impossible. The solution appears in every excavated peasant dwelling. Vertical zone management. Smoke stratifies at predictable heights. Archaeological evidence shows all daily activities concentrated below 1.2 meters. The smoke boundary. Above this height, carbon deposits are thick, below minimal. Families literally live their lives crouching beneath poison. At Vindolanda, preserved wooden tablets. Document. The consequent military medical records describe black ceiling disease, chronic respiratory infections plaguing civilian settlements. Treatment notes prescribe honey sulfur compounds, which modern analysis confirms have antimicrobial properties. Skeletal analysis reveals the generational cost. Rural children show elevated respiratory stress markers, but adults tell a different story. Lung capacity, 15% greater than urban Romans. Measurable evolutionary adaptation within centuries. The smoke served multiple functions beyond heat. Chemical analyses of roof timbers shows creosote accumulation preventing rot. Insect remains indicate effective pest control. Meat fragments preserved in rafters confirm food smoking operations. Every family made the same calculation. Temporary suffering for long-term survival. Their children wheezed through childhood to develop lungs that could process smoke like air. But on the coldest nights, smoke and fire weren't enough. In 2018, excavations at a Romano British farmstead revealed what modern sensibilities find unthinkable. Direct passages between human quarters and animal stalls. Not separate buildings connected by doors. Shared air systems where families and livestock became a single heating organism. The mathematics are precise. Modern livestock studies confirm biological heat output. Cattle 4,500 BTU per hour. Sheep 2,000 BTU per hour. Chickens 800 BTU. per hour. A typical peasant household's animals generated 10,000 BTUs continuously, equivalent to modern space heaters, no fuel required. But animals exhale moisture 10 gallons daily without management walls, rot within weeks. Archaeological floor cross-sections reveal the solution. Triple layer engineering, bottom gravel for drainage, middle lime clay barrier, waterproof yet vapor permeable, top replaceable straw surface, changed weekly. That expelled straw became premium fertilizer. Thermal necessity, creating agricultural wealth. Animal positioning followed thermal logic. Cattle against north walls. Their bulk blocked wind. Body heat rose directly to sleeping areas. Sheep filled cold corners. Chickens roosted in rafters. Their 42 degrees Celsius body temperature creating upper-level heat zones. Exactly where children slept. The ratio appears consistent across excavated sites. 1.5 livestock units per human. Deviation meant death. Too many animals. Ammonia poisoning. Too few. Hypothermia. Disease patterns contradict modern assumptions. Skeletal remains show rural populations had lower tuberculosis rates than city dwellers. Constant childhood exposure to animal pathogens created bulletproof adult immunity. The Bridge Farm families didn't just tolerate animals, they engineered a multi-species survival system. At Vindolanda, waterlogged mud preserved what elsewhere time destroyed. Complete clothing assemblies that revolutionize our understanding of Roman textile technology. Barbara Burley's team carefully extracts a child's complete winter outfit circa 200 AD. Not random garments. A thermal system engineered in 7 calculated layers. The base, loose weave linen, creating air pockets. Then diagonal twill wool. Water shedding. Fulled wool, nearly waterproof. A doubled rectangular cloak, protecting vital organs. Compression leg wrappings, improving circulation. Hay-stuffed leather footwear replaced twice daily. The masterpiece, a child-sized virus Britannicus. This hooded coat represents textile engineering at its peak. Wool from specific sheep breeds never washed. Retaining natural lanolin. Loose, woven, then boiled. Shrinking fibers until water cannot penetrate. Final treatment, smoking over pine fires. Tar compounds creating bulletproof waterproofing. Laboratory testing of the preserved fragment stuns research. Still waterproof. Internal temperature maintained at safe levels in sub-zero conditions. But individual garments were just components. Sleeping arrangements reveal systematic heat conservation. Archaeological evidence shows circular sleeping patterns. Smallest individuals centered. Adults forming thermal shells. Each person's exhaled breath warming the next person's intake air. Heat loss reduced 60% versus individual sleeping. At Vindolanda tablets mentioned families owning just 3 cloaks for 7 people by day, worn by outdoor workers. Evening hung near fires absorbing heat. Night laid over sleeping clusters, radiating stored warmth through darkness. 3 a.m. Every excavated hearth tells the same story. At this exact hour, fires reached critical low. Carbon deposits show consistent refueling patterns. Someone had to wake, or everyone died. The danger was invisible. Carbon monoxide pools at floor level during night hours. Stand wrong. Step wrong. Breathe wrong. Death before reaching the woodpile. Skeletons found mid-stride between beds and hearths confirmed the silent killer's efficiency. Firekeeping wasn't random. It was inherited precision. Analysis of skeletal remains shows patterns. Elderly individuals past heavy labor, commonly found near hearths. They held the most dangerous job in the house. Firekeeper. Years of practice created internal biological clocks accurate 2 minutes. They woke without external cues, guided by rhythms trained since childhood. Archaeological hearths contain deliberately selected stones. Different minerals fracture at specific temperatures, creating acoustic warnings. Limestone at 200 degrees Celsius. Sharp crack. Sandstone at 150 degrees Celsius. Dull pop. Grana at 100 degrees Celsius. The danger threshold, a singing tone that meant wake now or never wake. Settlement data calculates the failure rate. 3% winter mortality from heating failures. 1 catastrophic night in 30. Morning brought equal danger. Vindolanda tablets describe entire families found suffocated in their beds, victims of backdraft. Door opening sequence mattered. Top fence. First, creating draw. Bottom doors next, feeding oxygen. Wrong order triggered smoke inversion. Unconsciousness in seconds. The Bridge Farm families who survived 20 winters had beaten odds of 45-1. No family survived winter alone. Settlement patterns across northern provinces revealed coordinated survival strategies. Houses positioned for mutual wind protection. Central spaces creating thermal microclimates 5 degrees warmer than exposed areas. But the revolution was synchronized breathing. At Bridge Farm and surrounding settlements, morning fires lit in sequence. Smoke from House 1 drew air through House 2, then 3, then 4. The entire village ventilated without losing heat. Evening fires reversed the pattern. One respiratory system with dozens of lungs. Resource allocation followed brutal mathematics. Forest production. 20 tons annually per hectare. A village of 20 families needed 60 tons, but had only 20 available. The solution appears in excavation data. Rotating rations. Full wood allocation every third year. Other years, survival on animal dung, straw bundles, shared heat. Archaeological evidence of heat parties appears across northern sites. Hearth size 4, 20+ people, were patterns indicating mass occupancy. Multiple family cooking vessels in single structures. 3 families would share one house's heat each night. Rotating hosts. Reducing fuel consumption by 60%. The Bridge Farm side shows evidence of this communal system. Those decorated rafter ends found as post-packing. They likely came from a communal building, sacrificed to improve individual homes when climate worsened. Villages weren't just communities. They were thermal organisms, engineered for collective survival. 235 AD. The Rhine didn't just freeze. It became a highway of death. Ice core data from Greenland pinpoints the trigger. Volcanic eruption, 236 AD. Global temperatures plummeted 2 degrees Celsius within months. The cooling would last decades. For the Roman Empire, dependent on Mediterranean agriculture and long supply chains, this meant catastrophe. Cities starved. Trade collapsed. The crisis of the 3rd century began. 50 years of civil war and economic collapse. But at Bridge Farm, something different happened. The archaeological layers from this period showed expansion. New construction. Not urban buildings adapted for coal, but peasant structures built from scratch, using traditional techniques. Rural sites across northern provinces tell the same story. Population influx from cities. Refugees learning peasant engineering. Simplified hypocausts appearing in buildings that once housed urban elite. Military construction manuals from 300 AD confirm the reversal. Official documents now prescribe peasant building techniques. Soldiers ordered to build like locals, not like Romans. The empire finally recognized what it had spent centuries denying. Peasant engineering was superior. At Vindolanda, the transformation is complete. Final occupation layers show Mediterranean architecture vanished. In its place, thick-walled, small windowed structures, indistinguishable from native British construction. The conquerors had become students. The murdered builder of Gaul had his revenge. The knowledge Rome tried to suppress through violence had become the only knowledge that mattered. For 76 AD, Rome falls. Cities empty. Libraries burn. Nobody freezes to death. At Bridge Farm, continuous occupation through the collapse. The same building techniques appear in sacks and structures centuries later. The body ratio construction system of the murdered builder survives in medieval guild records. 6th century manuscripts describe heating methods, matching archaeological evidence. Exactly. Not through written preservation. Most couldn't read. Through hens, teaching hens. Bodies remembering measurements. Communities maintaining traditions. Modern analyses provide stunning confirmation. But are ancient farms. Experimental archaeology program recreates these systems, using only documented techniques. Results. Consistent livable temperatures through British winters, using historical fuel amounts. Every component proves critical. Remove one element, System fails. DNA analysis reveals the deepest legacy. Regional populations from areas of highest Roman peasant density show genetic markers for enhanced lung capacity. Centuries of smoke exposure literally rewrote human genetics. Evolution, in response to engineered environments. Thermal imaging of surviving medieval buildings reveals patterns matching Roman peasant construction. The same convection currents, the same heat zones, the same survival mathematics. Knowledge so robust it outlasted the civilization that tried to suppress it. 8 million Roman peasants solved the impossible equation of winter survival. Not through military might or imperial wealth, but through ingenious engineering disguised as primitive necessity. The Bridge Farm excavations reveal the truth. Peasants built Hypocaust systems using only body measurements. The murdered builder of Gaul died protecting this secret. That complex engineering could be reduced to simple human proportions anyone could replicate. At Vindolanda, a child's triple-layer sock outlasted the empire itself. Laboratory testing confirms these primitive garments outperformed modern military gear. Their textile technology wasn't crude. It was revolutionary. When Rome fell in for 76 AD, cities emptied, trade collapsed, libraries burned. Nobody froze to death because peasant knowledge doesn't require literacy. It lives in hands, teaching hands, bodies remembering smoke boundaries, communities sharing heat. Modern DNA analysis proves it. Populations from Roman peasant regions still carry genetic markers for enhanced lung capacity. Centuries of calculated smoke exposure literally rewrote human biology. The empire that conquered the Mediterranean couldn't conquer winter, but ordinary families did with mud, smoke, and shared warmth. Their methods still appear in medieval buildings. Their ratios survive in guild traditions. Their innovations echo in modern insulation principles. Today, as climate change threatens our own civilization, the lesson is clear. Survival doesn't come from the top down. It comes from ordinary people solving extraordinary problems with whatever they have. When the next crisis comes, and it will remember the Roman peasants who turned frozen death into systematic survival, who transformed mud into thermal fortresses, who made animal breath and smoke into heating systems. The empire is gone. Their knowledge remains, and in a world facing its own collapse, we might need it again.